Hello, listeners, and welcome to yet another episode of the Nigeria Football Weekly podcast. I'm your host, Oloke. Today is episode 56, and as usual, it's a very eventful weekend of football action, and I'll be touching on how all our Nigerian players have performed in all the top leagues in Europe. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Starting, of course, with the Premier League, and with the Leicester lads, we saw Ademola Lookman start over the weekend, while Kelechi Iheanacho was an unused sub for Leicester, as they drew 0-0 to Aston Villa at home on Saturday. Which means they're now 10th in the league. You could pretty much say that they've put all their hopes in the UEFA Conference League basket. I believe the winner of the UEFA Conference League gets an automatic place in the Europa League. So next up for them, they'll be playing Roma in the first leg of that semi-final on Thursday. The first leg is at King Power Stadium, so hopefully Leicester can at least get a lead to take over to the Olympico next week, Thursday. After that, they'll be playing Tottenham away on Sunday, so that should be a very, very testy game. And I'm sure Kelechi Iheanacho will get some minutes somewhere in between the semi-final or the game away to Tottenham. Hopefully they could do Arsenal a favour as we chase the top four, you know what I'm saying? Alex Iwobi's Everton. It was not a good weekend as I predicted. They lost 2-0 to Liverpool on Sunday. I thought he played decently well, to be fair. But Everton are now in the relegation zone with literally 4 games to go. If they get relegated, it will be the first time in Everton's history that they will be relegated. They've been part of the first division before it became the Premier League, and they've also been mainstays in the Premier League since 1992 when it was created. So that would be a monumental shift in terms of expectations for Everton, and they'll probably be the biggest club ever to get relegated from the Premier League if current results stand. And it doesn't get any easier for them because they play Chelsea at home on Sunday. So Chelsea are looking pretty good after losing to Arsenal. They won their game against West Ham 1-0 courtesy of a Pulisic last-minute goal. They've got nothing else to play for this season apart from the FA Cup final, which they could worry about in 2 or 3 weeks' time. So I don't really expect much of Everton. But to be fair, against Liverpool, they did put up a fighting chance for like the first 60 minutes before Andrew Robertson scored the first goal of the game. The one positive is Iwobi continues to start games, so hopefully we'll see that continue as the season ticks along till May. As for the Watford boys, oh my god, they are going down 100%. There's no way Watford are not getting relegated. They got battered by Man City 5-1 on Saturday. Gabriel Jesus scored 4 goals and also got an assist in that game. It literally was a proper whitewash by all indications. The one positive you could say is that Emmanuel Dennis got the assist for Watford's goal. He put a good ball into Hassan Kamara, who dumped in with his left foot. So Dennis has now got 10 goals and 7 assists this season in the Premier League. There is no way Emmanuel Dennis should be playing in the Championship. So whatever happens, it will be interesting to see where he moves in the summer. I like to see him go to like a Leicester or I don't know, maybe Brentford. We'll see how it goes, but I think a Leicester could be the right kind of team for him to move to. But we'll see what happens in the summer. You could even argue he could do a job at Tottenham, maybe even as a backup. But hey, we'll see what happens in the summer with Emmanuel Dennis. The rest of the Nigerian players at Watford, it looks like their careers at Watford are coming to an end. I don't think we'll ever see Ekon play the Premier League again, to be honest with you. And next up for them, they play Burnley at home in the 3 p.m. kickoff on Saturday. Burnley have been flying recently since they sacked Sean Dyche, ironically, and they're now above the relegation zone. So if I was a betting man, I would say Burnley should be able to find a way to beat Watford on Saturday. Frank Onyeka at Brentford, he's still injured, although they managed to draw 0-0. Actually, they didn't manage to draw. They should have beaten Tottenham in the game on Saturday, but they drew 0-0 with Tottenham. So shout out to Brentford for taking some points off Tottenham for me as an Arsenal fan. The other game week 34 results to be aware of: Arsenal beat Manchester United 3-1. You know, Saka and co were in action. We saw Saka score a penalty. We saw Xhaka score absolutely fantastic goal. Tavares was playing like he was playing against us, even though he scored the first goal of the game. But we'll take the 3-1 for now. Newcastle beat Norwich 3-0. Joe Linton scored a lovely brace in that game, and Bruno Guimaraes scored an excellent third to wrap up the points. On Sunday, we saw Brighton draw 2-2 with Southampton. James Ward-Prowse scored yet another free kick. I mean, he is just incredible. If he continues his form between now and December, there's no way Gareth Southgate's not taking him to the World Cup. I'm sorry. Burnley beat Wolves 1-0. Chelsea beat West Ham 1-0, as I mentioned. And earlier today on Monday night, Crystal Palace drew 0-0 against Leeds United. So what are the next set of fixtures to look out for in the Premier League? On Thursday, Manchester United and Chelsea play their game in hand against each other at Old Trafford. That should be a tasty tie, and I'm not sure Man United want to lose 2-3 games on the bounce. So it should be a very good game to watch, and hopefully we could see a very entertaining game for us neutrals. Newcastle then play Liverpool in the early kickoff on Saturday. That should be a good game because Newcastle are flying. No other team apart from Liverpool, ironically, have got more points in 2022 so far since January than Newcastle. So Newcastle and Liverpool should be a very good game and a lot tougher than people are currently predicting. Aston Villa play Norwich in a 3 p.m. kickoff. Southampton play Crystal Palace at a 3 p.m. kickoff. And Watford play Burnley at 3 p.m. kickoff, as we already mentioned. And Wolverhampton also play Brighton at 3 p.m. kickoff before Leeds United and Man City wrap up the Saturday games in the 5:30 kickoff. On Sunday, we'll see Alex Iwobi's Everton play Chelsea at 2 p.m. and Tottenham also play against Iheanacho and Lookman's Leicester at 2 p.m. before West Ham United play against Arsenal at 4:30 p.m. kickoff. I'm hoping because of the Europa League semi-final, West Ham have got their focus somewhere else. So we'll see what happens in that one, but everybody knows Arsenal need to win that game to make sure we stay above Tottenham, who are currently 2 points ahead of in the race for 4th place. Manchester United then wrap up the game week on Monday with a home game against Brentford. So that should be another very, very tough game for United. But yeah, that's it for the Premier League this week. Moving on to Serie A. Oh my God. Victor Osimhen's Napoli are the biggest bottle jobs I've ever seen in my life. Time and time again, they start with great promise and they just bottle it right at the end. Last season, they didn't get a Champions League place because they lost on the last day of the season. Or they drew when they should have just won the game and they would have finished above Juventus. Now, they top Serie A for like the first 15 games of the season. And they've just been stumbling. After losing to Fiorentina at home the previous week and then drawing against Roma on Monday, they somehow were playing against Empoli on Sunday. We're winning 2-0. Up until the 80th minute, Mertens and Insigne had scored. And they somehow conceded 3 goals in the last 10 minutes of this game to lose 3-2 to Empoli. So the Scudetto charge is done for Napoli. They're definitely not going to win the title. It's strictly between Inter Milan and AC Milan now. And Juventus also beat Sassuolo earlier today, which means Juventus in 4th place are only 1 point off Napoli after everything that's happened this season. It's just incredible to think about, to be honest. But yeah, that's what Napoli have done for themselves. Luckily, they're 9 points ahead of Roma, who are in 4th place with only 4 games to go. So it would take an absolutely monumental collapse for Napoli to not make the Champions League. So if I was a betting man, I would say Osimhen could probably give them one more season because he's going to be playing Champions League football. But we know the big guns are going to be circling in the summer. So let's see what happens with Victor Osimhen and his Napoli career. All I know for Torino was a new sub over the weekend as they beat Spezia 2-1. Next up for them, they play Atalanta on Wednesday night to fulfill their game in hand. And then they play Empoli away on Sunday. You like to think Olano should get some minutes somewhere from those games. Isaac Success was one of the more successful Nigerian players over the weekend, no pun intended. He scored his 2nd Serie A goal of the season and registered his 7th assist of the season in a 2-2 draw away to Bologna. Frankly, he was excellent for Udinese, and it's really good to see him finally settling in Serie A. And he's finally showing the kind of promise that we saw earlier on in his career when he played for the youth teams for Nigeria. And I'm just happy for him, to be honest. One thing I also noticed is the person he assisted for the goal for Udinese is Destiny Udogie. Any of our listeners who are Igbo know that's an Igbo name. Destiny Udogie is currently Italy on the 21 international, but of course he's eligible for Nigeria. So watch this space. We'll see how that one goes. Udinese remain 12th in the league. And next up for them, they play Fiorentina away on Wednesday. That's going to be a tough game. And then an even tougher game against Inter Milan awaits them on Sunday at home. However, we know Inter are changed the league, but Udinese are showing some pretty good performances here and there. Although they did lose Salernitana the other day. So it's always hit and miss with Udinese. But hopefully Success continues good run up until the end of the season. Joel Obi Salernitana, he's still injured, but Salernitana actually beat Fiorentina at home 2-1 on Sunday, which means they're now just 3 points away from safety with 5 games left. They've had an incredible week winning back-to-back games. And if you asked me a few months ago if Salernitana could stay in the league, I would have called you a liar. But they've got a tricky fixture on Sunday. They go away to Atalanta, so let's see what happens with that one. As for Venezia, they have swapped places with Salernitana. Venezia are now bottom of the league, 20th. Ebuehi still injured, but David Okereke started their last game on Saturday, which was a 3-1 loss at home to Atalanta. And next up for them, they go away to Juventus in Turin. So if I'm sure the bookmakers right now would probably say Venezia will be going down, but we've seen stranger things happen in Serie A, so watch this space. In La Liga, Samuel Chukwueze's Villarreal did not have a game this week. They are probably, I think La Liga were just allowing them to prepare for their Champions League game. But in hindsight, it was the Copa del Rey final this weekend between Real Betis or Valencia. So I imagine they were supposed to play either Real Betis or Valencia. So yeah, I do preparation for them. They will be playing Liverpool at Anfield on Wednesday night in the Champions League semi-final. Come on, Samuel Chukwueze. I'd love to see him start the game, although it's more likely he'll come off the bench. And then in the league, they'll go to Deportivo Alaves away on Saturday. Azat Oshoala, I mentioned on the last podcast that she's back from an injury. So her next game will be the second leg of the Champions League semi-final for FC Barcelona women's away at Wolfsburg. They're already up 5-1, so they're going to cruise to the final. And they're probably going to win the Champions League again. They're just the best women's team I've ever seen, honestly. Like, they're incredible. But I'd like to see Oshoala get back and start to line up and add to her 19 league goals. So that'll be interesting to watch. And just great to see her back playing. If anybody's looking for content to watch, she's got a new documentary out on FIFA.com/FIFA Plus. It's called Icons. She's one of the 5 female icons that was followed, and her story is quite amazing. So everybody watch that if you get a chance to do so. Just to touch on the Spanish Segunda very briefly, Umar Sadiq's Almeria got a last-minute winner earlier tonight, playing against Sporting Gijon at home. So they're still just 1 point off the top, and they look like they just might get promoted to La Liga, which is where we want to see Umar Sadiq in. With his 16 goals and 7 assists, we know there's a big player in there. But we just need to see him get a bit more well-rounded and playing against proper big opposition. So I really, really hope they finally make it to La Liga this season. Next up for them, they play Bordeaux away, so hopefully it should be a routine win for them. In the Bundesliga, we saw Taiwo Awoni's Union Berlin exact revenge on RB Leipzig, who beat them a few days ago in the German Cup semi-final on Wednesday. So on Saturday, Union Berlin went away to RB Leipzig. They were down 1-0, and they scored 2 goals in 86th and 89th minute to win the game 2-1. So nice revenge for Union Berlin. They're still 6th in the league, but they're now just 4 points off 4th place with 4 games to go. So watch this space. Could we see Union Berlin in the Champions League? I would not rule them out of it. Next up for them, they play already relegated Greuther Fürth at home on Friday night. So that should be an easy 3 points for them, especially if they won't harbour any hopes of making it to the Champions League. Speaking of Greuther Fürth, who have now been relegated officially this weekend, Dixon Abiyama was in action for them over the weekend as they lost 4-1 to Bayer Leverkusen. Next up for them, they'll be playing Union Berlin, so let's see what happens in that game. But let's just say Greuther Fürth are not coming back to the Bundesliga anytime soon. They have been really, 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 really bad. And you could argue they're really lucky to get into the Bundesliga in the first place. But anyway, kudos to them for at least getting into the Bundesliga for a change. And Kevin Akpogma's Hoffenheim, they're still in 8th place. He played the first half in a 2-2 draw away against Eintracht Frankfurt on Saturday. I'm not sure why he got pulled off in that game. Next up for them, they play Freiburg at home on Saturday. Freiburg, interestingly enough, are one of the teams that are chasing the Champions League places. So Freiburg are currently 5th, Union Berlin are 6th, and I believe RB Leipzig are 4th. So those 3 teams are currently battling it out for the 4th Champions League spot in the Bundesliga. And finally, in terms of the top 5 leagues in Ligue 1, Moses Simon was also excellent this weekend. Him and Isaac Success were probably the standout Nigerian players this weekend. Nantes beat Bordeaux 5-3 in a thriller at home on Sunday. It was 3-3 when Moses Simon popped up to score a frankly brilliant goal to make it 4-3 with his left foot. Cross came to him. He turned the defender and then blasted the shot in with his left foot. Great goal. And he also got an assist in the game. So he's got 4 goals and 8 assists for the season in the league. So not bad numbers, although seeing what he did in AFCON, you always think he could do more. But he's very settled and enjoying his football for Nantes. And at least they're not involved in a relegation scrap like they were last season. And they've also got a French Cup final to play. Not this weekend, but the weekend after. So It could turn out to be a great season for Nantes and Moses Simon. Next up for them though, they play Lens away on Saturday, so watch this space. And then finally, Terre Murphy and Innocent Bonke's Lorient got battered 5-0 by Rennes, who were chasing the Champions League spot in Ligue 1. Terre Murphy did not start this game. He came off the bench, and Innocent Bonke was unfortunately subbed off early because he got injured. So we wish him a speedy recovery. They remain 15th in the league because all the bottom teams in Ligue 1 are really shit. But they're just 3 points off safety. So they're 3 points off safety, but they're 15th. So it's going to be a battle and a grind right down to the end of the season. Next up for them, they play Reims at home on Sunday. So hopefully they could get some points on the board and get out of this stumble. And that's it for the top 5 leagues in Europe over the weekend. So moving on to the non-top 5 leagues in Europe, always starting with the Portuguese league as usual. Porto finally lost a league game earlier today. They lost 1-0 to Braga, although they're still on course to win the Portuguese league. It was their first loss in a league game in Portugal since October 2020. That is incredible. That is literally almost 16 months since they last lost the game. But anyway, every record has come to an end. Shout out to Carlos Carvalho for what he's doing at Braga. But I'm sure Porto will bounce back against Vizela at home on Saturday. And of course, Sanusi did start the game. He's definitely a bona fide starter these days. Moving on to the Dutch Eredivisie, and Ciudadela started the game for Feyenoord as they scored a last-minute winner to win 2-1 at home against FC Utrecht. They're currently third in the league, and you could say similarly to Leicester or West Ham, all their eggs are in their European basket. They are playing in the UEFA Conference League semi-final this Thursday. They're at home against Marseille. You would say Marseille are probably the favourites, but you just never know with these European ties. And after that game, they'll play Fortuna Sittard away on Sunday. So we wish Dezers all the best. Speaking of Sparta Rotterdam, Marika Okoye's team were involved in a 2-0 loss on Friday away to Twente, which I mentioned on the last pod. Unfortunately, they're now bottom of the league, but they're only 3 points off safety with 4 games to go. So it's really tight at the bottom of the league, but I can't wait to see Marika Okoye get out of there. Yes, he's probably going to have to play in the Championship for Watford, and he may even have to be back up to Ben Foster, but he just needs a new environment, man. Sparta Rotterdam is definitely a bit too low for the talent Marika Okoye has shown so far in his career this season and last season. It does get any easier for them, though. They play AZ Alkmaar at home on Saturday. But we're hoping that Marika could help his team and they could pull off a victory or at least get some points on the board. Moving on to the the Belgian League, Alassane Youssouf continues to start games for Royal Antwerp all the time. As I said on the last pod, he needs to be in the next Super Eagles squad if they're whoever's selecting the national team is worth their salt. They did lose on Sunday to Club Brugge though, 1-0 in the start of the Championship round of the league. One of their players got a red card, which is unfortunate. And their next game is against the table toppers Union Saint-Gilloise at home on Sunday. It's quite a crazy story. Union Saint-Gilloise, it's their first season in the Belgian league. They just got promoted and they absolutely dominated the regular season of the Belgian division. So they're probably still on track to win the league, but watch this space. We'll see how that one goes. Polonaiu's Genk, they were in action on Sunday. They also got a last-minute winner to win 1-0 away to Ghent. They are in the Conference League round of the Belgian League, so it's not been a great year for them. And next up for them, they play Mechelen away on Friday. Moving on to Scotch Premiership, and first I just want to mention congratulations to Calvin Bassey. He was announced earlier today as Rangers' Young Player of the Season. Very well deserved. He's been playing excellently well for a long time now, and he needs to be a starter for the Super Eagles all the time going forward. We need to get rid of Ekonga and Balogun at their age and just play Bassey all the time. But yeah, on Saturday they beat Motherwell 3-1 away. You could tell that Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was trying to rotate the squad, thinking about their UEFA Europa League semi-final coming up this Thursday against Leipzig away. So Bassey and Aribo did not start the game, but they both came off the bench. Leon Balogun, on the other hand, started the game, but he got a red card after like 30 minutes, I believe. But yeah, thankfully they were able to win the game and still keep themselves with a bit of a shot of winning the Scotch Premiership, although it's very likely the Celtic will win it. Speaking of Celtic, after Rangers play Leipzig away on Thursday, they will be in action away to Celtic on Sunday in the league, so watch this space. In the Turkish league, Anthony Nuakeme's Trabzonspor are literally 1 point away from winning the league after beating Adana Demirspor 3-1 on Saturday. Anthony Nakame was injured for this game, so he did not play. So I'll see if he plays the next game, which is on Saturday at home against Antalyaspor, where they'll be looking to wrap up the league title. And we'll see Anthony Nakame back in the Champions League. The more Nigerian players see in the Champions League, the happier I am. Last season, we had way too few. I think we started with this season, I think we started with just about 2 or 3 players. Sanusi, Innocent Bonke, Chukwueze, and I think there was one more person I can't remember right now. But yeah, we need to up that. So even looking at the likes of Osimhen, Nwakeme, who else could even be in the Champions League? Maybe Sanusi will be there again. We know that for a fact. Maybe even Taiwo Awoniyi could get in there with Union Berlin. If Villarreal can somehow win the Champions League again, the Champions League for the first time, they will be back in the Champions League. So there's a few prospects to look out for and just seeing how they're performing for their clubs. And they all have a pretty good shot of being in the Champions League. So you can say congratulations are in order for Anthony Nwakeme. Moving on to Fenerbahce, who sits second. Bright Osai Samuel started as a right back as they beat Rizespor away 6-0 on Friday night. I'm sure I mentioned that on the last pod. But next up for them, they play Gaziantep at home on Friday as they look to solidify second place in the league. Chidera Ejuke was in action for Alanyaspor. He came off the bench on Monday earlier today in a 1-0 loss to Sivasspor. However, they're still 6th in the league and they'll be playing Yeni Malatyaspor at home on Sunday. And finally, soon to be ex-Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa came off the bench in a 2-1 win over Giresunspor at home on Saturday. Next up for them, they play Konyaspor away on Saturday. Another really, really good performance to shout about from the Nigerian players over the weekend. Chidera Ejuke CSKA Moscow beat Dinamo Moscow 1-0 on Sunday. Chidera Ejuke came off the bench and was excellent, and he also scored the winning goal for CSK. Great goal as well. You could say he got a bit lucky with the finish, but you got to shoot to score. Next up for them, they play Akhmat Grozny away on Sunday, and hopefully we can see Chidera Ejuke actually start a game for a change this time. Onyekuru and Amo are still injured, so I'll skip those leagues. Pitalinka, Slavia Prague, they were in action away on Sunday to Radek Kralov, but they did lose 4-3 away in that game. It was not their best game by any stretch of the imagination. Next up for them, they play Victoria Pilsen at home on Sunday. Victoria Pilsen are actually top of the league now by 2 points, so this is literally a top of the table clash. And hopefully we can see Slavia Prague finish first place. That's another team. If Olayinka Slavia Prague top the league, they will go into the Champions League qualifiers. So we may see him in the Champions League, who knows. Although I'm sure some bigger teams are circling the block for Olayinka. He's been playing pretty well for a while now at Slavia Prague. And finally, there were no games in the Cypriot League for Shehu at Ozor, Ammonia and Nicosia. They're in action in the Cypriot Cup semi-final on Tuesday against Anorthosis. I can't believe I have to speak about the Cyprus League, but that's what happens when Nigeria keep calling up people that play in. With all due respect, a league that's a shambles. Like, God knows what coefficient Cyprus is, but anyway, I've got a job to do. And then in the league, they play Doxa away. So that's it in terms of all the European leagues. Starboy of the week, I have to make it split again. I think Moses Simon scoring the go-ahead goal to make it 4-3 for Nantes before getting an assist in a 5-3 win against Bordeaux. Great performance for him. Really had he's had a very good season in Ligue 1, and he also had a pretty good African Cup of Nations. So fair play to Moses Simon and well done to him. And also Isaac Success, he's really settling in Serie A, and I think he's going to have an even better season next year. He got a goal and assist for Udinese in their 2-2 draw against Bologna on Sunday. So both of those players are my star boys of the week. Shout out to them. There is Champions League football and European football this week. Manchester City play Real Madrid tomorrow. That should be a tasty tie. I can't wait to watch that one. And then Liverpool play Villarreal on Wednesday. In the Europa League on Thursday, we'll see West Ham play Eintracht Frankfurt. Imagine West Ham make the Champions League. You know, that's something I'll actually love to see. I think it'll be richly deserved. And then Leipzig play Rangers. That's another thing. Rangers, if they win the Europa League, they will be in the Champions League. So I'd rather see Rangers win because of our Nigerian players. But you have to admit that RB Leipzig are probably the favourites to win the entire Europa League. But we've seen strange things happen, especially after Rangers beat Borussia Dortmund. And in the UEFA Conference League, we've got Leicester against Roma and Feyenoord against Marseille. In terms of any Super Eagles news to be aware about, I saw a note just mentioning about our AFCON qualifiers. So our first game is going to be at home against Sierra Leone. We know what that means. Chance to avenge the 4-4 draw, which was an absolute disgrace to the national team after being 4-0 up. And then our second game is going to be away against Sao Tome or Mauritius. It's likely to be played between the 30th of May to June 14th. We do know that the Super Eagles have friendlies scheduled on the 29th of May and the 3rd or 2nd of June against Ecuador. The first game is against Mexico. So as long as the NFF are not being absolutely stupid, which we can't rule that out, I would like to think that these two games will take place at some point between June 6th and June 14th. But watch this space. So that would be the start of Nigeria's AFCON qualifiers. Remember, we can't take this for granted. Nigeria missed 3 AFCONs in the last 6 editions, so no room for complacency. And also, I saw a news report that former Inter Milan and Italy goalkeeper Walter Zenga, capped 58 times, he was also a former manager of Sampdoria, Crotone, Venezia, and Cagliari. Most recently in 2020, Walter Zenga, he has applied for the post to be Super Eagles head coach. So when I hear more about who they decide on appoints for the head coach job of the national team, I'll be sure to bring that to you. Ones to watch for this week: Isaac Success. Let's see if he could build on his success against Fiorentina away on Wednesday, and then Inter at home on Sunday. Kelechi Iheanacho and Lookman, big European final. Leicester have never won a European title, so I'm sure they'll love to do that this season. They play Roma on Thursday, and they play Tottenham away on Sunday. The Rangers boys, Basi Aribo Balogu, Leipzig away in Europa League semi-final. Big game. Massive moment for Rangers. And then they play Celtic away on Sunday. Another massive game for them. Cyril Dessers, final, they're in action against Marseille at home in the Conference League on Thursday. Another chance to make a European final. Taiwo Awoni's Union Berlin, still pushing for the Champions League spots. They play Gratufoot on Friday. So hopefully we can see him get on the score sheet and get close to 15 league goals as I've predicted. And Alex Iwobi's Everton, we know they're in a relegation zone. They play Chelsea at home on Sunday at Goodison Park in a critical game for them. And hopefully Alex Iwobi can provide a spark to help them beat Chelsea or at least get a draw. So that's it for this episode of the podcast. Thanks for rocking with me. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nigeria Football Weekly. Continue to spread the word, just doing our part to make sure we raise the profile of our Nigerian footballers and let you guys know how these players are actually performing, because a lot of people don't take attention or take note or pay attention to how Nigerian players are playing. They'll just come and give their opinion when the national team's playing. So I thought it was very good. That's the main reason I started this podcast in the first place, to make sure that we're aware of how they're performing each week, and we could, bring more balance to, the reporting and really see how well our players are playing. Although I love to see a few more of our players play for the bigger teams in the top 5 leagues, apart from Union Berlin and Hoffenheim and Osimhen at Napoli and the boys at Leicester. A lot of our players in the big 5 leagues are playing for teams struggling. Obviously, Nantes are not struggling this year, so shout out to Nantes. But yeah, follow us on our social media channels at Twitter, NFWPOD, Instagram at Nigeria Football Weekly, Facebook at Nigeria Football Weekly. And you can also email us if you have any thoughts, nigeriafootballweekly@gmail.com. I appreciate every single listener. Enjoy the football coming this week, particularly the Champions League ties. We know it's coming to the end of the season, so there's a lot of, interesting subplots happening both in the leagues as well as the European games. Thanks again for your time, and enjoy the football throughout the week. Take care. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, share, subscribe, and click the bell to get a notification whenever we drop a video. You can also find our social media channels listed below. And of course, up Super Eagles and Nigeria, they ever carry last.